Sandra's retirement plan had three main parts. It consisted of herbal tea, hardback novels, and long walks that didn't need a special reason. By spring, her days were pleasantly uneventful. One Tuesday afternoon, she brought her yoga mat to the park, picked a quiet spot under a tree, and settled into stillness. She had just begun her meditation on staying calm when she heard footsteps. They were slow, careful, and somehow not quite right. Sandra didn't open her eyes at once. She waited, noticing a change in the air, the kind of tension you feel when someone is standing too close to you and saying nothing. Then she heard the sound of a zipper. She opened one eye. A man in his early 20s, wearing a hoodie and looking uncomfortable, was bending down, trying to slide her bag away without making any sound. Sandra said calmly, "If you're looking for something valuable, I'm afraid all you'll find is a yogurt that expires today." The man stopped, looking surprised, as if he wasn't sure she was a real person or his imagination at work. Then he reached for the bag again. Sandra sighed. She picked up her pepper spray. She always kept it next to her water bottle and gave it one quick spray. The man shouted, more from surprise than pain. He stepped back quickly, wiping his face with his sleeve. "You can have the yogurt if you want," she offered, "but I wouldn't eat it." He hurried away behind some bushes, swearing, probably feeling a bit embarrassed. Sandra took a deep breath, sat up straight, and returned to her meditation. She didn't tell anyone at first, not the police, not the neighbors, not even her cousin whom she messaged every day on WhatsApp. It didn't feel like a real crime to her. It was just a strange meeting in the park which briefly interrupted her meditation. The next day, she told Marta about what had happened the previous day. They were sitting in their usual cafe, Marta stirring her tea slowly. "Did you get robbed yesterday?" Marta asked, her eyes wide. "Almost," replied Sandra, "but I stopped him before anything happened." Marta leaned back. "What did he expect to find in your bag?" "I am not sure. Definitely not almost expired yogurt and a leaflet about knee exercises." "Was he dangerous?" "No, just badly prepared." They sipped their tea. Marta tapped her spoon against her cup. "How did you feel?" Sandra thought for a moment. "I was not frightened. I just felt annoyed, like when someone talks loudly in a library." Marta smiled. "And what did you do after?" "I finished my meditation. I added 10 more minutes." Marta shook her head. "You sprayed someone and then went back to relaxing?" Sandra nodded. "Problems don't last forever. That's what my meditation app says." "Did he leave anything behind?" "No, just some swearing, and I think he was embarrassed." Later, Sandra thought again about what had happened. She noticed she wasn't scared or upset. She was surprised by how calm she stayed. Years of working with children and solving problems must have helped her keep cool when something unusual happened. The next week, she bought a new pepper spray. This time it was pink with a small light on it. The woman at the counter looked surprised. "Have you had any trouble lately?" Sandra smiled. "I am just practicing how to stay calm." The next Thursday, Sandra and Marta had their usual order: lemon tea for Sandra, black coffee for Marta, and one slice of cake to share. Marta was reading a new novel. Sandra was checking her newly installed health app just for fun. Everything was normal. "So," said Marta, "did you ever see him again?" "No, but I like to imagine he's somewhere far away, learning how to breathe and stay calm." Marta smiled. After a moment, she said, "Honestly, I think you improved his breathing technique."